Hello and welcome back to our ACCA SBL series. And today we'll be talking about a very practical aspect, something that you will see playing out in real life way more than you can imagine, and that is strategic growth dimensions. It is still a part of the strategic choices chapter. This concept that we are going to study first of all is built around the ANSOff growth vector matrix, which helps the organization to decide how to grow, whether by launching new products, entering new markets, or doing both. Understanding this model is crucial for your SBL paper because it connects directly with business case analysis, diversification, market development, and which are three areas that the examiner loves to test. And beyond exams, of course, we'll also try to connect that, real life correlation to understand long term growth. Now let's look at the two-dimensional framework. The ANSOF model is built on two dimensions, product and markets. Okay, the product dimension looks at whether a company continues with its existing product or develops new products. For example, Maruti Suzuki adding electric vehicles to its portfolio, that's product innovation within the same brand. Okay, and the market dimension, it focuses on whether the company continues in its existing markets or enters new ones. For example, Amul expanding from India into overseas markets like the Middle East and the US to reach the Indian diaspora. So that's entering into a new market. Together, these dimensions create a map of how businesses can grow. The real power of this model lies in combining both. Companies see you cannot have just unidimensional growth, both will have to be considered. And you will have to think from a product growth perspective also and from a market strategy perspective to balance the risk and opportunity. Now, the ANSOF matrix basically there are four strategic growth options. There's market penetration, product development, and diversification. Now, market penetration is selling more of existing products and existing markets, going deeper. Product development is creating new products for existing customers. Market development is taking existing products to new markets, and diversification is developing new products for new markets. Okay, all very, very different. I mean, Infosys expanding cloud services to existing corporate clients, that's product development, new products for existing customers. Reliance Jio launching Jio Mart, new business in retail, which is completely different. That's diversification, new product for new market. If you want to recommend a growth strategy in the exam, you will have to use the ANSOF matrix to justify your reasoning. Okay, I will repeat. Market penetration, selling more of existing products and existing markets. Satyamed lowering his prices for a batch and trying to reach more and more students of ACCA, market penetration. Product development, creating new products for existing customers. I develop a paid mock evaluation package, existing students, but a new product. That's product development. Market development, taking existing products to new markets. That would be Satyamed taking his ACCA course to another country where he doesn't have students right now. And diversification, new products for new markets. Maybe I develop a CFA course tailored for another market altogether, say Middle East, for example. So it depends on, how I visualize my entity overall. Now, consolidation basically means bringing together. So before we talk about aggressive growth, let's focus on consolidation. Sometimes the smartest move is not to grow but to stabilize. Consolidation strategies help companies protect their current position before expanding further. There are three approaches: downsizing operations, which is cutting non core areas to focus on strength. Back in the day, Jet Airways scaled back unprofitable international routes before its eventual restructuring. You are downsizing, cutting non core areas only to focus on what you do best. Strategic withdrawal, exiting markets that no longer make sense, like Tata Motors pulling out of South Korea's Daewoo operations. That didn't make sense for the company at all, so it withdrew. And market share protection, strengthening dominance like Asian Paints, which keeps innovating its distribution and product mix to maintain leadership. Consolidation is not stagnation, it's preparation. Before you take the big jump, make sure that at least your base is set completely, right? Then, see, after consolidation, let's talk about market development, where existing products are taken to new markets. This could mean entering new geographies, new demographics, finding new uses for the same product. Patanjali started as a health brand, but later expanded into international markets targeting Indian origin consumers. Okay. Or globally, Coca-Cola uses the same drink formula but localizes its marketing, selling the same product in 200 plus countries. Okay. So what are the advantages? Economies of scale, large production volume reduces the cost, diversified risk, downturn in one market can be offset by another. But there are cultural barriers, foreign exchange risks, unfamiliar laws and regulations, which can act as a detriment to your overall growth strategy. And it's necessary that you should realize where the limitations are and whether you want to keep on making an effort, or you want to strategically withdraw from that particular market if it is not working for you. Certain brands, they have resonance more with a local consumer base, and even if they try to go global, it doesn't really make that necessary cut. So in that case, you will have to decide the next steps that you want to pursue. The product development strategy is creating new or improved products for your existing consumers. This strategy works best when a company already understands its customer needs. Like Apple launching a new iPhone every year, same customer base, new product each time. Tata Motors upgrading its car models with improved safety and technology features. And HDFC Bank adding new digital services for existing customers. So that's development of the product, new or improved version of your product. And the classic example of failure, Coca-Cola's new Coke, which backfired because loyal customers rejected the change. They only wanted a particular taste, which they were always used to. Some products cannot, it's not possible for you to innovate on certain products because people would only prefer the older version and nothing. They don't care for any innovations or any new taste or any new approach that you are bringing. They are stuck in their ways and they wouldn't want it. So you should know which industries would appreciate product development and which products will not. Now, when you are trying to develop a product, you are trying to bring a better variant of the same one, or you are trying to make a new product altogether, there is always the innovation risk. Not every new product succeeds. For example, Google Glass, it failed commercially because customers did not find it practical, right? And then there is the necessity paradox. In fast moving industries, not innovating is riskier than failing. Think of Nokia. It dominated the mobile markets but failed to adapt to smartphones. I mean, it just couldn't, and we have seen it getting wiped out. So, if a company operates in a fast changing industry like tech or finance, innovation is not an option, it is critical for survival. Okay. Now, the product diversification strategy. When it comes to diversification, the most ambitious growth strategy, developing new products for new markets. It's also the riskiest because you are moving away from a product that you are comfortable with and a customer base that you already know very well. You are doing two new things at the same time. If it is done right, it will be super successful. But if you don't, then naturally problems will follow. Like Reliance moved from petrochemicals to telecom and retail. It is a classic diversification success story. Virgin Group went from music to airlines to finance, leveraging its brand strength across industries. So, diversification gives you risk spreading, economies of scale, and brand power, but it also creates coordination challenges. Managing unrelated businesses will demand different expertise and strategies, and you will have to hire the right people to get it done. And when we look at diversification, if I were to think of advantages and weigh the pros and cons, see the risk is spread across multiple industries. So even if one fails, the other one will still deliver something for you, right? So that is something which could come out as a solution of sorts. Flexibility to shift focus when markets change. Uh, that is possible, because you have not put all your eggs in one basket. You have a diversified portfolio, and cross synergies could be possible between different divisions, like Tata Group leveraging Tata Steel, Tata Motors, and Tata Consultancy together. The challenges are many. Complex coordination across businesses, because the same management team handling different businesses is basically a recipe for disaster. High management cost, appointing specialists in each of the divisions or each of the product lines could bring with it high cost problem, and then the dilution of brand identity. People don't know what you are. Are you selling petrochemical? Are you selling retail? Are you selling vegetables? What are you selling? Are you quick commerce? So that naturally, it requires a very strong leadership to steer that and bring certain items, to everyone's notice. So a stronger leadership team will be required, to get certain things processed. Now, when it comes to tackling different types of businesses, I think you should know that they have all different demands, and you will have to you will have to be able to cater to those. Some demand, a lot of management focus. The others, they are the customers would have a different demand. Like customers require a lot of hand holding in certain cases, like the coaching industry, for example. Today the students need a lot of hand holding, but in these basically self-paced courses, that is not required. So you will have to understand how that specific aspect works. Then diversification into new markets, which is basically new products plus entering into new markets at the same time. When companies diversify into new markets, they can do it in two ways: related diversification, expanding into areas linked to their existing business, or unrelated diversification. Like, Reliance Retail owning both manufacturing and retail distribution, giving it control over the value chain. Horizontal integration is Disney buying Pixar to strengthen its animation segment. The key is leveraging your existing capabilities while exploring new areas. It helps to keep the risk manageable. Vertical integration, forward and backward movement along the supply chain. Horizontal integration, people of the same level, business entities of the same level, and ensuring that you can basically use their skills to develop your business further and penetrate deeper into the markets. The Disney Pixar example, I think, would be the perfect one here. Then, when it comes to development of international markets, what are some of the international market development drivers? How do you expand internationally? How do you expand globally? The first thing is understanding the market drivers, standardized customer needs, and global brands. Think of Nike, Apple, whose products appeal universally. Then government policies, free trade agreements and reduced tariffs encourage cross-border expansion. That's something, which can become a success if there are free trade agreements. But right now, the kind of world that we are living in, with one country imposing tariffs on another all the time, I think these have become restrictions to your international trade and growth, right? Then economic factors, smaller domestic markets like Singapore or Finland push companies to go global. I mean, how much will you cater in Singapore? You will have to find out another market for your products. And competitive dynamics. When competitors go global, the others have to follow suit, because otherwise they will consider you as more of a failure. And it's all about fighting a perception. It's all about fighting an image in the minds of people. Like Infosys and Wipro, they expanded globally because clients demanded international service delivery. Tesla expanded manufacturing to China and Germany to reduce costs and reach new consumers. So you will have to keep on working on these aspects constantly. When it comes to the international markets, you should know the international value network strategy, which is basically a part of the global value chain optimization. So they locate different functions where they get the best advantage. Manufacturing could be, done in low cost regions like India, Vietnam, Mexico. Research in innovation hubs like Germany, US, even Bengaluru for that example. Apple designs in California, manufactures in China, sources ships from Taiwan, optimizing cost and quality. This strategy helps to avoid tariffs, utilizes local expertise, and manage costs, what we call the global value chain optimization. Okay, and global organization type and market entry. So let's look at how companies structure themselves globally. International organizations export based models, for example, a small manufacturer in India selling through foreign distributors. The distributors will naturally have to be given a cut. Then global organizations, standardized products worldwide like an Apple or Coca-Cola. Multinational organizations which adapt products to each country. For example, McD's India with its vegetarian menu. When I was in Thailand some time ago, I only saw non-veg on their menu and I was surprised. Then I realized that the proportion of vegetarians in these countries is far lesser. And then, of course, transnational organizations like, which combine the best of both worlds, standardized efficiency with that local customer connect, local customization, which you can see with Unilever. Each type reflects how the companies balance global and local responsiveness. So, in exams, when asked about international growth, don't just say expand globally, specify how. Would you export? Would you use an export based model and set up an international organization? Or would it be a joint venture? Would you set up a subsidiary elsewhere? Or would it be like a full transnational operation? Okay. And of course, to sum up, see the ANsoff matrix gives you the map for growth. Each strategy, market penetration, development, product innovation, diversification, it has its own risk and rewards. In today's world, see the growth cannot just be local. You will have to expand globally. But if Tata can move from trucks to tech and Reliance can move from oil to digital and Apple can evolve from computers to wearables, I think the essence of growth, if you want to ask me, lies in one thing: strategic adaptability. Okay. So you will have to innovate, you will have to adapt, and you will have to deliver in spite of the changed global circumstances.